modern, it's not right, and it's not commensurate with what we've talked about this morning in terms of the percentage of the people and the percentage of economic activity that take place in the cities and the ability of the cities to address some of the social justice issues that we've both made reference to.
We don't have a lot of time left, and I know because you have to get in the traffic to get to your next event. But
so you're clearly on his team. It's not. It doesn't bother me a bit. No problem.
I'll be taking the TTC.
Are you still with the CBC?
The TTC.
No, the CBC. I said no.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I want you to dream a little bit and think about your city. At 200, not at 150. The city that your grandchildren, might aspire to lead one day, and what that city might look like.
Well, I think if we want to aspire to what it should look like, it is a lot of what we're going to see is stuff that's not as visible to the eye as it is to the experience of people who live here. I think right now there's two things that we've got in front of us that are huge challenges, and I'll put them in sort of reverse order of importance. The number two challenge is making sure that we, as the city grows, because every projection shows there's going to be massive growth taking place in this region, that we stop doing what we did, which is allow growth to take place without the commensurate supports for people in terms of just basic public infrastructure, transportation, parks, recreational facilities, and so on, and that we sort of get ourselves more to the point where we plan and allow for development and growth, and the growth's coming, so we may as well just accept that fact and have that happen alongside the other kinds of development that we often overlook and say we'll do that later. But then the second thing I'll mention, but first in terms of order of priority and related to the experience people have, is getting over what is, whether we want to accept it or not, even in this country where we do it better, is some gap between that opportunity that Naheed spoke about, so that we can talk about the Canadian dream as being something that is open and available to everybody, and the reality, which is that a lot of people, certainly I'll speak for this city, there are too many people who in reality don't find themselves in a position to access the opportunity, either because their neighborhoods are disconnected or because some part of their background has made it more difficult for them to access the opportunity, and so on. And a lot of people look at that as some sort of a thing that involves kind of a handout to people or anything like that. No, it's the wisest investment we'll ever make, because we are a small country, but an immensely talented country where the people coming through, even from the most marginalized neighborhood in Toronto, are coming through an excellent education system and have every reason to be very successful. And that it's other things we can do that are small, that involve a little bit of extra support, that are going to let those people perform to their potential and thus let the entire country perform better. And I think the city on the 200th anniversary that has addressed that and sort of made sure those supports are available that allow people to be successful will be the city that will have done better and be a place to be prouder of than we are today. We're doing well at these things today relative to others, but not as well as we need to do to be satisfied with ourselves and to be more successful.
I think he just said he wants to take over the schools, so if anyone has a Direct Lines Premier win, let her know. Years ago, when I was a volunteer with the city, I helped write the 100-year vision of Calgary. And it starts with the line, a great place to make a living, a great place to make a life. And to me, that's fundamentally what we're talking about. I talk a lot about sustainability, environmental sustainability, financial sustainability, social sustainability. But we need to continue to be beacons for the world and places of great opportunity. And that means that we have to have the basic tickets to the game. You got to have a city that's safe. You got to protect your air, your land, and your water. You've got to continue to provide every single person in the city with that little miracle that 1 billion people in the world don't have, which is safe, clean, healthy drinking water that doesn't make your kids sick. All of that stuff are tickets to the game. It's unbelievably expensive. You got to take away the garbage. You got to manage the recycling. But beyond that, once you have those basic things in place and people can feel safe and secure is when you start building opportunity. And I often talk about my own life. You know, I grew up in East Calgary in a family, first-generation Canadian, in a family that didn't have a lot of money. But as John says, what I had was incredible opportunity. I graduated from outstanding public schools. I spent my Saturday afternoons at the public library. I learned to swim very badly in a public pool. Whenever I say that line, I'm reminded that I now run the public pools, and I'm disparaging my colleagues when I say that, but I explored the city that I love on public transit. And those kinds of investments are precisely the investments that create that opportunity. The one thing that Canada does better than anywhere is ensure that that opportunity is available to all, no matter where you come from or how marginalized you might be or the neighborhood you live in. And that is the greatest danger we face. If we get into issues of intergenerational poverty in this country, if we get into areas where hope is lost for certain groups in certain neighborhoods, then our cities don't work anymore. And that's fundamentally, you know, with all the hard-nosed, squinty-eyed visor stuff that John and I do, cutting money here and there, I want to read that police force report. And that's the work we do every single day. We never lose never ever lose sight of the fact that what we're doing is ensuring that people have hope for prosperity in our community.
Thank you both very much for your time this morning and for your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you all.